Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and David Lauer
with the Bloodlines pre-show.
I'm looking forward to the season so much. I feel like I've been starving for another challenge for like 6 months, but I mean, it's like that with any show, where even just 6 months between shows, it seems like forever.
Yeah, and on top of that, I've heard some news that they're actually filming and approving like another challenge immediately. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, the 28th season.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be nuts.
They're just kind of pushing it into production almost immediately. Like, I feel like the challengers got home and the winners or whoever was in the final, they barely got to sit down until they're on to the next one. Who knows?
Yeah, they're going to have to defend their championship immediately.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be outrage over who wins this season.
Really? You think that?
Yeah, maybe there's shenanigans.
No,
Who knows?
I don't want to...
But that's what's great about this pod. It's all speculation, because there's certain... All we know is what we've read on the internet, like who the cast is going to be, like a rough outline of the setup of the show, and we're going to go over all that. Kind of try and guess what would happen, kind of lay out predictions, who our favorites are.
Yeah, for sure. Although I'm actually going to come from a place of looking back to the past, so that maybe we won't make the same mistakes in the future. I want.
But you don't want to dwell in the past. But you'll want to learn from it.
Exactly.
So there's a balance.
When it comes to certain challengers, I feel like they're stuck in a performance rut. You know, Bananas is always 100%. You know, Big Easy is always at 20%. You know, like he might spike up and eliminate Wes one day, but then he'll immediately fall back down and quit on Camilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Speaking of which, let's start with our first alumni. Actually, no.
We should talk about the whole... Let's talk about the theme.
The theme. All right,
Bloodlines.
well, the title is Bloodlines. The theme, you bring in a relative this time. Oh, well, actually, no, you don't bring it in. But, like, it's alumni versus... their bloodlines. Every single person is going to have a relative.
A brother, a sister, a cousin. Could it be friends?
Former roommates?
No. No. Bloodlines, Dave. Bloodlines.
Yeah, it's strictly bloodlines. At first, when I heard about this, I was like, oh, that's very hokey. Very whatever. But, like, so was Rivals. But, well, that was cool.
But Rivals is still, like, people from the show. So this season's almost kind of like a weird version of Fresh Meat, where there's a bunch of new people, because we don't know half these freaking people. Obviously, at least half. Plus the other cast members who have been on other MTV shows, but we've not seen on the challenge yet.
And I like that you mentioned Fresh Meat, because, you know, that's one of my favorite seasons. I like the idea of just new people showing up.
Yeah.
And just mixing everything up. So it's not a Fresh Meat, but it might as well be.
Yeah, because half the cast we're not going to know. They're going to have their bloodline, but just because they're relatives doesn't mean they're going to be anything like their relative. They're going to have a completely different personality.
That is true. However, what kind of a alumni would want to bring in, like, this is my brother. I fucking hate him. No, you're going to bring in the brother that you like. You're going to you're going to ignore that brother and bring in the cousin. So, they could be similar.
Maybe, but maybe they'll end up hating the
True,
cousin.
True. But my money right now is that at first they're going to be like, oh, well, Nani. Spoilers, Nani's on this season. But you look at her bloodline, it's like that's Nani 2.0. You know?
Yeah.
With a modeling contract. You know? That's what it is. Sorry. I'm just like, you said that they're going to be different, so I had to be like, no, because honestly.
That's true. It's. I mean, they could be different, but different doesn't necessarily mean better. It could be worse. Like, it could be like Nani, she's kind of hot but kind of crazy. Well, really crazy, I think. And then pretty slutty, but then like her bloodline could be even crazier and even sluttier. Like, ooh. And even hotter.
Is that possible?
I think it's possible. At least I hope so. For the sake of the show, it'd be cool. But I mean, we don't know. Like, there's so many different. We'll get into the cast later, but there's a lot of different possibilities, and it's not Fresh Meat, but it kind of is, like we said. But like, once we get into the how the eliminations are going to work, we need to get into that.
Yeah,
because that's a big topic.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But going back to, you said maybe they're not like each other at all, but honestly, they're going to get cast because the alumni, like Johnny Bananas is on here, he's not going to reach out to just anyone to be on that show. He's got a brand to protect.
Yeah.
And that's how everyone else kind of thinks too, right? You don't, like, you wouldn't want to bring your... This is just
Napoleon Dynamite cousin who's going to suck.
And they also will like this other bloodline. That's my theory. They're not going to invite the person that they've hated in their family over on this show to humiliate them, you know?
Maybe.
One up them.
But what if you're Johnny Bananas, you're Italian, your bloodline is Italian, and Italians, you know, they can be hotheads. So maybe he picked out his Italian cousin who's like the situation. He knows he'd be good in the challenge, but he's kind of a hothead, like CT or something.
Would that be very smart? Because Johnny Bananas, every partner that he's had, either they fit with him professionally or he makes them fit professionally. He's like, listen, we're not gonna.
Yeah,
he
doesn't really seem to ever have a wild card partner.
No, and there's no way he's gonna give the producers the name of a hothead cousin.
Oh yeah.
You know, if I'm Johnny Bananas, I sat my cousin down and said, listen, dude.
I don't know, but if he's some New York Italian dude, he's just gonna be like your Jersey Shore type dude.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to be nuts no matter what. I feel like Johnny Bananas, out of his family, he's probably the most normal one, even though I think Johnny's a little insane. It's going to, I don't know, it's going to be so interesting to see some of these people.
Yeah, and I already feel a little biased. That maybe that's going to come into this season where you're like, that's Nani's cousin? Oh, I'm not going to like her. I'm going to love to look at her, but I'm not going to like her because I don't like Nani. Or I'm going to love Kahada's bloodline or Cara Maria's bloodline.
I just can't wait to hear Kahada's bloodline, her accent.
Yeah.
Her accent. I just want to hear it. Like,
yeah.
She's probably going to sound like Jemmy.
Yeah, she's going to be like, now, Kahada and I dated in the 8th grade before we realized we were cousins. We were next of kin. Boy, was our faces red. You know? So, we don't know.
We were like two peas in a pie.
Yeah. She taught
me how to dangle.
Alright, let's get back on track, though. Okay, so the theme is Bloodlines. That means... 2 teams, though. This is a return to the classic structure of the MTV challenges. 2 big teams versus each other. Mm-hmm. That's great. I don't mind it because a lot of people have complained about the pairings. They're like, enough with the pairings and shit. Rivals, X's, Rivals 2, X's 2, you know?
And they did free agents where it was solo.
Mix, yeah.
So now they're going back to a team. So, I mean, it seems good, because they did free agents, they've done pairs a bunch.
When I heard the title, I'm like, okay, well, Johnny Bananas is going to recruit the biggest fucking bloodline he has, so they could just dominate.
Yeah, but dude's going to come out and he's going to look like Brock Lesnar, and you're going to be like, oh shit, there's no way anyone can beat him.
Yeah.
Johnny Bananas is like, what, 5'10" or something? His bloodline would be like 6'4". You'd be like, what? Are we sure they're related?
Yeah.
He's like a black dude from Alabama.
Banana City, bitch.
I think he plays small forward in the NBA.
Yeah, but that's kind of neutralized because now it's opposite teams. To me, I was like, thank God. That's brilliant. That's a little bit more fair. I like this idea. You're not teamed up with your cousin. Like, who would you have on a challenge? That person's going to be on the other team. So it's like, obviously you've recruited someone that you thought would be your partner. I feel like this is how producers made this happen. They were like, hey, it's going to be Bloodlines. You get to work with a cousin. It could be guy, girl, whatever you want. Although if I was like,
are we sure this is how it's going to work in the season where they're going to be opposite teams?
Yes, absolutely for sure. However, I mean, spoiler alert, later in the podcast I was going to reveal another twist where later in
Don't
the
look
season,
at me like I'm revealing it. You're just saying it right now.
No, well, you brought it up. I'm going.
Well, I wasn't going in that direction.
This could be
at all,
edited out, but yeah, later in the season they go into pairs, which I find bullshit. But we'll get into that later. Honestly, I'm just like, you took away the best part of having your bloodline. That was tricking Bananas by having them working against each other. To me, that was the brilliant part. And then at the end, no, not even at the end. I'm guessing like 3 episodes before the end. You know how MTV loves to throw in twists at the worst possible time.
Yeah, so the final isn't going to be Bloodlines team versus an alumni team. You know, it's not possible, you know, to have... Well, I don't want to start naming off all the people. We'll get to that when we get there. But it would be nice. I mean, because I don't know. I kind of remember those. You know, if you have 4-on-4 or a 5-on-4, some kind of challenge at the end. But if it's just going to be pairs, like all the other seasons we've seen, which is, it's good, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Well, first of all, had they stayed intact and not gone into pairs, it wouldn't have been lopsided at all. Because every person, if their bloodline leaves, they leave. So it's always going to be an even team throughout. So it would probably end with 3 versus 3, Battle of the Sexes style. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that why they're having it be where if your bloodline gets voted off, you get voted off too?
Yeah.
Just to keep them even.
Yeah.
And that's... But
and then they destroy the entire idea.
But yeah, that's
later.
It really kills the integrity of the show if you're gonna have someone get sent home and you didn't even get sent home. You know, it wasn't your fault. Your bloodline went into the gauntlet. They lose, so you get sent home.
Oh, you don't like that idea?
I don't like that. You're
I
getting
feel
screwed
like
over.
it's a necessary evil. Necessary.
Really?
Evil. I think what it was, I made peace with the bullshit the production is doing. So now this does not take me aback the slightest. I'm like, of course this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm okay with it. So I feel like...
Yeah. Well, I mean, the producers do a lot of screwy shit.
It is bullshit. I'll agree with you. It's just that I've
You're just used to all that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was just like, I saw this coming. Not necessarily this twist. I don't mind
But they do a lot of twists like that. I don't know. I feel like it kind of ruins the fairness of the game. Where
it does, yeah.
Where at the end of the season you're like, well, you know what? I feel like this person was the best person who was performing for the first, 9 episodes, and then they get knocked off because their bloodline did bad, you know? And they were rocking it the whole season, they get screwed over. I would be upset if it was, one of my favorite alumni that I was rooting for.
Well, now we're going to have to talk about the elimination twist, because you brought it up a few times. This time... okay, so there's the 2 teams versus each other, and then I'm guessing the first team, they better win some fucking money, because what's the point if no matter what you're going to go in against each other? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They better be winning a $10,000 check like back in the day.
That's true, because what other incentive is there? Because there's a chance you're going home.
Yeah. I think I might have saw a little chart on Wikipedia that said bank accounts.
So with that... Wouldn't you say that this season, I mean, politically, there's going to be tons of alliances and stuff, right? Where people are trying to put in certain people. I feel like there has to be, because you know your bloodline's going to get sent home. So I feel like both teams are going to be intermingling and having, people from both of the bloodlines and the alumni. They're going to have an alliance where they're going to have a pecking order, and they're going to be like, okay, this is... this person, this person, this person, and they're going to be trying to get rid of the same people.
For sure.
So there's definitely going to be a cool kids club, I feel like, where you want to be in that alliance, and then they're going to get carried to the end, I feel like.
We're skipping ahead so much. We should actually explain that now there's 2 teams. One team, if they win the mission, we're assuming they win money. So at least there's some sort of...
incentive.
Thank you. Incentive to win. This is going to be just like the Ruins, I hear. Champions win. However, a champion is still going to go into the Ruins, into the elimination. However, they are the matchmakers. They get to decide who's going to go against who. Because the losing team, they have no say in the matter. It's all up to the champions, or the people that won that mission. So, say the alumni win. Now the bloodlines, which is highly likely, I'm assuming the alumni are going to do really good. There's a lot of good...
I feel like they would.
We're getting off track.
I mean, okay. I feel like they would do good because they have experience with a lot of these type of obstacles that they're going to have to do. So they obviously have to have an advantage.
Yeah, I assumed right away that it would be lopsided. Whole veterans versus rookies and sort of thing. But more Gauntlet 3, less Gauntlet 2, because that was very even. Anyways, holy shit, I'm trying to get to the whole elimination thing. So now, apparently... alumni win, right? They decide who's going to go against... alumni has to go against a bloodline. Anyone they want, or whatever. Maybe it's whoever's available. The top 3, they vote each other, like in the Ruins. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
No,
anyways,
actually, I don't.
no.
I'm saying yeah.
I knew you didn't.
I know, you didn't ask me a follow-up question. I was like, good, I'm not going to remember that at all. I watched The Ruin so long ago, I barely remember it.
Alright, well...
It's a season I need to go back and watch again.
A alumni will go against a bloodline in an elimination round. And now the big twist is that you are connected in this game to your bloodline, to the bloodline player, to your cousin, right?
Yep.
So say you have a cousin. Would you bring a cousin or a brother or sister or anything like that?
Probably a cousin.
A cousin? Okay. The cousin that bodybuilds now?
No, I don't feel like he would
Bring, well, you
I
can't name him anyone else. Just bring the bodybuilder in.
Well, I don't know. I have another cousin named Logan. I feel like he might be better.
Okay.
I don't know. He's leaner. I feel like he would do better in a final, like a long distance endurance thing.
Cocky. You're thinking long term, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think about the final if I'm bringing a
now
bloodline.
Your team wins because you're alumni, let's assume. They're like, hey, you know what? Johnny Benez is like, you know what? If I have to go in, I'm going to go against Logan. I feel like I could take him. And then TJ's like, you didn't know this, guys, but if you if one of your bloodlines gets eliminated, you walk too. You're out of the game as well. You are connected through them like a bloodline, like a lifeline. You understand?
It's kind of like the Matrix, where you have the person plugged in and then the person who's in the Matrix. Like if you kill the person in the machine world, the person in the Matrix will die.
Right. Yeah. So say your cousin, what's his name, Logan?
Yeah.
Bananas beats Logan.
Is he in the machine world or in the Matrix?
You are bald and slimy and full of, hoses out of your spine and many other different areas. He's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
You're in the machine.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
why do I feel all slimy? And then they're just going to
Bananas,
flush me away.
because Bananas is not going to appear in
He wouldn't
want to
go against me because he knows that he couldn't beat me in a final. Bananas knows that.
He's not fast, but he never stops. He's like death or something, And that's true. That's how I picture Bananas in a final. He never stops. He's like the Terminator or something, Mm-hmm. You can't stop him. CT almost outran him, but then he was like, fucking smokes. Camels, motherfucker.
And he let him down so much.
That was hers to win. Isn't that?
Yep. On that
so
snowy
sad.
mountain, he's just hunched over.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucked so bad. And they ended up with second place. If you're Bananas, don't you stop 20 feet from the finish line
And let DM
let them
take it?
win. Yeah.
I don't think he likes. I don't think he likes CT enough, and this is how I know because he calls him Chris on camera, and that's so disrespectful. I'm finding it hard to keep track. Okay, we mentioned the elimination twist. We did.
Yeah.
We did. Okay. You really do think it's bullshit?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather it. I don't feel like they need to be connected, and I feel like the only reason they're connecting them is so at the end they can pair them up into having like their final, however many they're going to pair up at the end.
I'm fine with it. And yeah, that's probably why the producers put it together. However, I like to compare everything to movies. That's just who I am. If anyone's ever seen the movie The Dark Crystal, there is a kingdom divided in two. There's like the Sphinxes and like the something else, but there's really good, soft-spoken, intelligent, wizard-like slugs. And then there's, on the other opposite side, the people in power are like these kind of crippled, vulture-like beings that are scary as fuck.
Those things are creepy.
They hate each other. You know the movie?
I've never seen the movie, but I remember seeing those things, and they freak me out.
Yeah, they're horrifying. It's just like, is this a children's movie? But Jim Henson fucking made it. Anyways, they are connected universally, as in when the main character, he's like this little elf boy. He's raised by these kind-hearted slug
Wizard
things. Wizard dudes. And the guy, he starts to die. Like, he's so old, but he's still wise and shit. But he's like, oh, you gotta go on a journey. And he starts to die, and he just fades away, right? Meanwhile, his bloodline, this evil fucking emperor he's dying on his deathbed, still clinging onto the crown and the treasure chest or whatever. He's just like, stay the fuck away, I'm still in power. and he dies horribly. He like he's in pain. He like starts to crumble and shit. They are all tied together. So throughout the movie, whenever like a bad guy would get thrown into the fires by the hero, one of his bloodlines, the kind hippie wizard dudes, would fade away.
Okay.
And that's how I view this new challenge, where it's like, this is the Dark Crystal. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great analogy, but however, when it comes to the challenge, I don't feel like it's fair. But it is cool. It's kind of cool where I think it's really going to play into the political side of the game, because you're going to make sure that your bloodline is always safe, and you have to form alliances. You're going to be even though you're during the challenges or the missions, you're going to be on opposing teams.
Yeah.
You're still going to have alliances for no matter whatever team wins. Like, you're going to be like, hey, you got those other 2 or 3, 4 people on your team. They have to stick together in an alliance. And it's going to be the same on both sides. Yeah. But it's still, I just feel like there's room for tomfoolery where it comes to someone getting eliminated. Because I don't want to see, like, one of my favorite people go home because, like, their bloodline screwed up.
That is going to be painful. That's going to be very hard to watch.
We're going to be watching them in the duel, and maybe it's like a hall brawl, and then you have, like, Kahutta going against someone who is really big, and you're like, oh, he has no chance.
Yeah.
And then his hot cousin's going to go home, and you're like, oh, I can't listen to her accent anymore.
Yeah, she's going to be, like, she's going to be in this booth, this glass cylinder. She's like, no, Kahutta, win. Otherwise, whoever loses, the floor will open and she'll get dumped into the water or something like that.
Yeah. Eaten by sharks. Wait, where is the season? Where did it get filmed at? Are there sharks there?
Turkey.
No, there's no sharks in Turkey. It's just sand people, right?
Well, there were sharks, but they ate the turkey and fell asleep.
Tryptophan.
Let's get into the roster. Because we covered the theme, we covered the elimination twist. Let's cover the people that are actually in it. Let's start with Camilla and her bloodline. But let's cover Camilla first. How do you feel about Camilla?
I like Camilla. I've always been a fan of hers. I mean, she's been in, like, 6 seasons now. That's a lot. Nice. And I've always liked her. Like, she is kind of crazy and kind of nuts, but I like her because she's got that tenacity. She's always going to give 100%. Like, if you go into a duel with her, she's going to give it 100%. So she's just a good competitor like that. And, I mean, she's entertaining because she's a little nuts, If she starts drinking, she's that Brazilian... Is she Brazilian?
Yeah, she's Brazilian.
Okay, yeah. That side of her comes out. So she definitely brings a lot to the season, I think. I'm glad she's there, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what she displayed in Bally X's can never be taken away. Like, she was the perfect partner for anyone, and she just happened to be with Johnny Bananas. And they performed brilliantly,
Yeah, and I mean, there was tension between them, and they ended up working it out, and she was solid the entire time. Bananas gets credit for that, too, because he was the kind of guy who was trying to, like, keep her irrational, like, her weird mood swings in check.
Yeah, he was the Camilla handler that season.
Yeah, he did a good job of it, though. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah, he held his chair and his whip perfectly.
Yeah, so is her bloodline going to be able to hold back the crazy Camilla? Like, who's her bloodline? Is it a guy or a girl?
It is a girl named Larissa. And not only is it, actually, it's Camilla's sister. Larissa Nakagawa, some sort of Brazilian last name. Now, what I have to say about Camilla is that I am glad that she's back. I felt that the last time we saw her free agents, when she went out against Teresa of all people, was so confusing because I remember her crying during the mission, the trivia mission, and then she was crying her eyes out again. She was just bawling during the draw, the elimination round. They had to run. Attach to the rope, grab a rope, pull each other, and ring the bell.
Oh, it was kind of like a tug of war.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you're kind of dug into the sand a little bit, trying not to get pulled back.
Yes.
Yeah, those are so brutal. Those are some of my favorite eliminations because they really break you down.
Yeah, but, I mean, she was like this emotionally during the mission. out of nowhere. It was just a trivia question. She got it wrong, but she was like crying and like bawling and stuff. And everyone was like, "Oh, hey, it's okay. It's just a question and it's just a mission, you know." And then when she's in the elimination, so she's in against Teresa, and yet she's still crying like that at the very beginning of the elimination because she's holding on and Teresa's tugging at her. But Camilla has so much more heart than Teresa. Camilla has showed us so much fire. She's, you know, Brazilian. Brazilian fire. You know, you don't mess with that shit. We've seen Camilla explode and go crazy on us. And now she's just all blubbery, teary-eyed.
Yeah, she had a moment of emotional weakness.
Something happened outside in the real world to what I assumed a family member, a bloodline, perhaps.
Maybe it's just that time of the month. That happens.
So it was bloodline.
Like,
right?
how many chicks on the challenge over the years? Oh God, that was an amazing bloodline joke. Jesus Christ! Brought to you by Playtex. I wonder if over the years, how many like chicks it was their time of the month, and they got irritable and like went off and said something like that, like really just freaked people out and just annoyed the piss out of them, and then they're like, "Okay, you're going into the gauntlet."
Yeah.
Like maybe Tanya. That probably happened to Tanya at some point. She'd go off the wall, go a little nuts.
Yes, but thanks to modern science, we now know that women tend to sync up. So I think what I'm trying to say is that I'm glad Camilla's back, because whatever happened was just weird, and I didn't like how she left at all. I felt that was a waste of a free agent. So now she's back, and she's on the other team is her sister, Larissa. She looks, you know, they all look good, by the way. Spoiler alert. But she looks soft to me. She looks a little bit more kind-hearted, not as fiery as Camilla at all.
Yeah. It could be a good thing if she's, politically.
I feel like Camilla is going to do her thing about getting drunk, making an ass of herself on TV.
And then her bloodline's going to bail her out. Because people will like her.
Because she's going to be the nicer one?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is Anissa. What do we got to say about Anissa, Dave?
I mean, I've never been a fan of Anissa. Like, her in the challenge, she's always annoying, has something annoying to say. She shows glimpses of being really good in missions, and in eliminations, she kind of just... She ends up winning some, she's never that impressive to me.
On paper, Anissa is actually the elimination female champion.
Really?
Wes is the male champion of the eliminations. Anissa is the female champion.
For having like the best win-loss record?
Right, yeah. So,
but none of them ever seemed like an impressive victory to me. Like the one where she beats Diem in the duel, like the lifting up, the I can.
Oh, that wasn't...
Like,
that felt weird.
There's stuff like that, and then... I don't know. Like, I've just never been impressed by her performances. Like, she always does well, but I feel like she's overachieving. I feel like her record in eliminations is way better than she actually is. Seems like every season, like, I always feel like she should not be around that long, but she always seems to hang on longer than I would expect her to.
Yeah. You know, part of that, I feel, comes from her just doing every season.
Yeah, she's such a vet, and she has those friendships and ties to people.
Yeah, why she's called all the time, we still don't know. We had a couple theories on the duel where she might have had some dirt on the challenge, or she was a robot created to say the right things at the right time and shit like that. Because nothing she says in context makes any sense. You know, she's just like a random number generator. Like, you know, I don't believe in cheating, so I'm not going to do it. But then she cheats and tries to vote in Laurel or some shit. You know, like, it's always just, like, bullshit. Like, she's just there to say some shit. You know, maybe it'll get on a trailer.
As much as I dislike Anissa, I have to say, I'm okay with her being on this season, because sometimes it's nice to have people to root against.
Yeah?
You know, because there's the people I'm rooting for, well, they have to have someone to go against, who
now,
I have to root against.
Does that count as a heel in your eyes?
Yeah, basically. So if Anissa or her bloodline end up in an elimination, I am so rooting for them to get knocked out.
Right. The thing is about that, it's like, it's almost predictable when it comes to, well, maybe not, because we just said she has the elimination record. For some reason, she's good at these things. Mm-hmm. You know? sucks at so much. Yet that's her zone. That's her jam.
I feel like she just seems to get lucky because I don't feel like she's the best athlete at all. Like, in some of the matchups that she wins, I'm like, how did that even happen? I'm like, she's not as good as that other person, but somehow she ends up coming over with a win. And it's like, all right.
It's so weird. Like, whenever you start saying, like, it's not like she's good or anything, I get defensive as in, like, I never said she was good, you know? but because I feel the same way about her as you do. So it's just, but I feel like we should do, like, a complimentary sandwich, I feel like it's called. Okay. It's like something bad, something good, something bad again. So let's say something good about Anissa. Her cousin looks hot.
Yeah.
Her bloodline, Rihanna Poland. You want to check her out? Get yourself reacquainted. You know.
That's her bloodline?
Yeah.
They're not even the same race. Are they related?
Do you not know Anissa?
Anissa said she said she was West Indian, I thought.
But she also said that she was mixed. Not only racially, but sexually. And, remember?
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
Oh,
about
is she
Anissa.
she's like half West Indian, but then half Jewish, right?
Was it?
Perhaps. I don't know. Her cousin looks Jewish. No?
Why do you say that? Because she owns a bank? I don't know.
Yes. She looks like a movie producer. That's all I'm saying.
This was actually corrected by a fan who was listening to our podcast. She said West Indian actually means
Caribbean.
You're from the Caribbean and shit. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I had no idea until that comment.
Yeah, she also said no one has that idea unless you're from here, and she is or something like that. The fan. So we're reaching that far out, I feel, or not. Maybe she probably lives in America.
America's a very diverse population, so that's why it's great.
As diverse as Anissa herself.
Was it Robin who was making fun of her when she was drunk? Yeah.
Well,
that was funny.
I made fun of Anissa when I was drunk. You know, watching
we all
him.
have.
Yeah. So Anissa, I've dragged your name through the mud plenty of times in podcast recordings, but you're back. I want to say something positive. I feel like hers should be positive, negative, positive instead of negative, positive, negative, because all we do is talk shit about Anissa.
I feel like we were going negative, negative, negative.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah. It's like bread, meat.
That's a terrible Big Mac. It's 4 slices of bread.
This was my lasting impression of Anissa. Just like Camilla, going back to free agents. She was there talking shit, saying, I'm a veteran, so I deserve respect or whatever, so I should never get voted in or whatever. And she was also talking shit about Laurel. She was like, I'm going to take that bitch out. We're either going to vote her in or I'll go against her and win, you know? And what happened? She actually went in against Laurel, if you recall.
I remember that. I absolutely loved it because I never liked Anissa.
Oppenheimer, it was called. The elimination round.
What exactly?
Where they start on either end of a huge barbed circle.
Yep.
And they run past each other and then have to hit the bell.
Mm-hmm.
So now Anissa has her shot at the fucking queen.
I really liked Anissa. Like, her standing up against Laurel. Like, I was actually rooting for her because Laurel had always been such a bitch. Like, the way she talked down to Big Easy when she was in the hot tub and the mean shit she said. I really passionately hated Laurel at that point. So I loved Anissa. Like, Laurel was the heel in Anissa. Like, she somehow turned face to go against Laurel because I hated Laurel so much.
Whoa, holy shit.
Because Laurel was just like that super hot chick who talks down to everyone and thinks she's better than everyone. And even though it's somewhat true, I want someone to be humble, though. You can't be that braggadocious douche. You got to be a little humble and nice. And that's not Laurel. Like, Laurel's like, I'm the shit. You all suck. Like, if I'm going to say something insulting, she said, she always goes to, like, the deepest extreme.
To the core.
Yeah.
But anyways.
We can move on past Anissa. She doesn't need this time.
This
much time.
You know what? No. My point was that, she challenged the queen, Laurel, and she got beat fair and fucking square.
Yep.
So I felt she should have retired right then. Because Anissa has never won a fucking season. she's been in how many finals? She was in Gauntlet 2. She didn't do shit on that one. Well, no one did. Did she eat? Because that's how it was decided. Remember that? Veterans versus rookies. They had to eat the food. I don't think she ate. I think she was gonna run against Landon or an MJ.
Yeah, no, they
right?
used her as a throwaway. Yeah,
right?
Because they were putting like 50 chips or 50 tokens or whatever.
Yeah,
or whatever it was. Like,
so she didn't even eat.
Yep. It's like you're gonna do the relay against Alton and Landon or something crazy like that.
Next final she was in Duel 2. She fucking lost it for Mark.
Yeah, I was pissed. He deserved better.
Was that the only final she's been in then?
Pretty sure it's just those two.
Yeah.
And she's a complete vet. She's been in 10 seasons. She's been around for over 10 years. I don't even know how many years.
Yeah, but
probably
it's
like
not,
12 or 13.
But she never brings with her like, oh, she's so smart, or oh, she's going to do this. No, she's just. Do
you feel like she's a favorite to win?
No.
Like she has all this experience, and you're like, we know what she brings to the table. And it's like, I have zero faith that she would ever win a challenge.
Yeah, like the most cynical part of me would be like, well, she always says yes whenever the producers call. They throw out a huge net out there, right? And sometimes when you're throwing a party, you're like, I just want some numbers. So I know Anissa will always show up to my party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Token black girl.
She is. Although she's a token, she's different races, different ethnicities.
She's the different, just like a different ethnicity. And you're like, okay, we're diverse.
That covers everything. Yeah,
we're diverse.
Yeah.
So,
do we have anything else to add to this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I feel like we're going.
I felt like
I don't
was going to
believe
try and compliment
Anissa
her,
deserves this amount of airtime.
Yeah. Moving on to Cara Maria.
Cara Maria.
I happen to be a fan. I believe in her. I want her to win at this point. Sure, she had some bad seasons like Rivals 2. She was embarrassingly horrible to me. I don't know if you recall that season.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Where Cook always had to drag her. Like, she'd be hyperventilating and trying to swim and shit.
They were my favorite team to win. Like, Cook and Cara Maria. Like, it was Cara Maria. It was her show. And I thought Cara Maria was, like, she was the rock solid, steady person on that team.
She's got guns, too.
And it slowly kind of changed where Cook was the better performer towards the end. And it was weird because it was the complete opposite. It was that progression.
Yeah, Cara had all that experience, yet she was
Cookie.
really crappy on that fucking season. Cookie.
Cookie and Cara Maria, they're like the hottest team ever too. That's kind of brought to their appeal.
Oh, they were really hot. Cara Maria, her very first season was Fresh Meat 2, of course, eliminated episode 1 because of politics.
I know, I was so disappointed when she got eliminated because I had watched her in later seasons, and then when I watched that season, I was hoping she was going to stick around.
Yeah. Gone immediately, so we barely got to know her. But she comes back in Cutthroat, and she's amplified by Abram and Laurel. Laurel hates her. Abram loves her with his dick.
A lot.
Yes.
Like every episode,
yes.
One of them is laying on top of the other person in bed with covers over them. Like, you have no idea. Like, half the conversations they have is like, is there penetration going on here? Like, you don't even know.
Apparently, that was a signature move of Abram and Cara during Battle of the X's 1, where they were like, you know what? We hated the cameras being on us all the time and, like, having to sneak around. So what we would do, we would just fuck on the balcony, out in the open. And the cameras, they're like, well, we can't record this. So they would go away. They would ignore the entire spot.
But they do that just so they could have the 20 minutes afterwards where like, no cameras.
Well, they wanted to fuck, and they also didn't want cameras there. So they would just, like, fuck on the balcony. They would all leave and shit. And they would, have the good time and then have a nice time away from the cameras. To me, that was brilliant.
I love Abram. Like, and the fact that he did this, like, this makes me love him even more.
Abram, to me, is like Sean Penn. He's an actor, but he hates being an actor. You know what I mean? I've heard that Abram, he's always just like, the challenges are he once said, I never watch the seasons. I never watch the show. I just do it. I show up. I have fun, or I don't, or I get eliminated, or I win. But I've never seen the show before because I know it's garbage. He loves the adventure. He loves the experience. That's why he's one of my top 3 dudes.
I could see him being that way, like, towards the later. He's been on the challenge a long time. In the earlier seasons, I feel like that Abram would have, because he's definitely evolved as a character. He was just like this young little meathead at first, and then like I feel like he's a really intelligent, smart guy now who like I respect his opinion. And it's weird because like watching his first 3 seasons, I was like, oh, this dumb shit.
We've totally jumped from Cara Maria to Abram.
Well, they're
linked.
Yeah, they were a couple. So.
That's the other reason why I love both of them on the season, because I love them together. To me, I'm just like, no, this is real. This is like, you know.
She's a lot like Camilla in the missions and in the duel, where she's always going to give 100%. She's an awesome competitor. Like, I love having chicks like that around in the challenge. She's perfect for the challenge.
She was definitely my top 3 in free agents, but she was took out in the most sexy way possible by Jessica. I love Jessica. I love Cara Maria. I love Laurel. But those 3 had this great scissoring effect where Jessica and Cara Maria had to go in elimination round, right? And balls in, the most physical fucking thing they could do.
I couldn't believe Jessica won that. I was so disappointed.
No, Cara Maria won.
She did?
She just hurt her hand doing it.
That's right, she broke her
because she had to go
hand.
against Laurel later.
Yeah, in the wall climb.
Right?
Oh, man.
So, exactly. Can't you see what I'm saying? Where it's like, those 3 chicks were interconnected somehow in a weird fucking way.
Wow. Was that the season where Cara Maria and Laurel were fighting? Too? Yeah. That was a good season.
And Cara Maria leaves where, like, you thought if anyone could fucking challenge Laurel in a final, it's her or Jessica.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Hey, she just eliminated Jessica, so she can't. Now it's between these 2. But they go against each other in a fucking elimination round, and the worst thing possible. Cara Maria might as well have been called Jordan at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
And I thought it was bullshit that they would vote her in. Like, she has a broken hand. Why would they not keep her around for the final? Like, I would call her a layup.
You gotta ask Bananas and Nani about that.
Exactly.
Those were the 2.
That's why I hate Bananas and Nani. Like, they forever have my hate because some of those votes that go against my favorite people, it pisses me off because I'm like, you should have kept her around for the final. I figured I would want to go against her because it's going to hold her back having a broken hand.
Well, yeah, I know we had this conversation before where you said you hated Johnny Bananas for that vote, where he's just like, put her in, and you were just like, why? Like, she's not going to help you or detract from your performance in the final. But to me, I retorted with this. I was like, well, if Bananas is as smart as I hope, well, I don't hope that he is, but I think that he is smart. If he's as smart as I think he is, he's watched other seasons. And if free agents, the theme, if that still is in the final, that means you're going to have to be joined throughout the final somehow. Maybe at just the beginning. They did
Gauntlet 3. Or 2.
Duel 2. Anissa, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Remember that?
Yep.
So that's why I kind of realized that it was smart, but it was a very cold decision. The fans would not like him for this. He knew that as well, but it's, you know.
That's a very good point.
Puts in Cara Maria in there.
Yeah.
No? Let's talk about her fucking bloodline. Do we have anything else to say?
Please tell me it's a hot chick.
No, it's actually a hot guy.
Oh, even better. He's got sunglasses on. I can barely see what he looks like.
His name is Jamie Banks, and it's a cousin of Cara Maria.
You can't really tell anything about him if he's like big or strong or anything. He's just like a normal looking headshot of a dude.
Yeah, so. And we're looking at a picture from this article, stopbeingpolite.com. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's an awesome website.
It's great, yeah. And maybe...
We are not paid by them. We're not sponsored by them, but they're a cool website if you like the challenge.
Yeah, I go there way more often than I thought I ever would. It's just, all they talk about is the challenge. So that's why, it's
and if you've watched like tons of seasons of the challenge, if you go online and find them, you can find old articles that are 5 years old talking about that season. You're like, oh, this is cool.
But yeah, judging from this picture, it's this guy named Jamie Banks. He's a dude. But now we have our first fucking what's it called? Sexual team.
Well, they are related.
Like, this is their bloodline, you know? Where it's like guy and girl.
So that brings up the possibility that you can be elevated or, be dragged back by having, if you're like a really strong guy and your bloodline is a girl. We've watched on the challenge, this isn't being sexist, but in a lot of the missions, I mean, guys are more athletic and they're kind of bigger and stronger, so they have an advantage in certain missions. So if your partner is a girl, that could hurt you potentially in a mission.
Well, it's not they're going to be on opposite teams.
That's true, but if at the end,
we're getting back into the huge spoiler again, where they're going to be in pairs.
But we can talk about it though. Yeah.
Oh God, it's still hard to talk about now because I don't even like that idea. I don't even like the twist. We mentioned that they're going to be in huge 2 teams, and I was like, that's brilliant because that fools the people that signed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, apparently, not even at the end, before the final, like a good twist should be, it's going to be like maybe a few episodes before that, and they're going to be divided into pairs. It's going to be a pair challenge once again. Something that we didn't want. We're like, we'll accept people playing with their bloodline, but only if it's like a twist, opposite teams, which is great. And now you're going to give them their partner
You said you were okay with it because you expected the producers
to
do...
Not the pairing part.
Oh, really?
That's the one thing where I'm like, no, you're going back on all the progress that you made by putting him into 2 huge teams and having the elimination being the twist that it is. What I'm saying is Cara Maria with Jamie Banks, like a guy and a girl, let's be as sexist as possible. If you're Cara and Jamie versus Bananas and his fucking cousin, is that fair in a final? No.
No.
It isn't.
If you got 2 strong dudes...
Let's just be as evil and dark as fuck. If we're being sexist, no.
And it's not even being sexist. It's just going off of the facts of watching the challenge. If you watched every season...
The stats.
Yeah.
We're going over stats.
Yep. So
Where's
let's go on to the next...
From?
I don't know.
I have no idea where
Let's just move on to the next person.
Yeah. Next. Christina LeBlanc.
Who the fuck is that?
I believe this might be... Let me look this up. Are You the One Puerto Rico? That might be season 2. That might be season 3.
I've never watched Are You the One. I'm looking forward to Bloodlines so much that I was thinking about watching Are You the One just to get to know a few of the characters. I watched like 3 minutes and I could not. I was like, no, I'm not sitting through this many episodes of these annoying, stupid, juvenile, petty, stupid shit. Like, I just can't do it.
And that's not the challenge to you?
No, the challenge is a lot more sophisticated. There's at least those elements of fun competition. This is just stupid drama by stupid people, it seemed like. A lot like the real world. If you have 2 stupid people in an argument, I'm rooting for no one. Or in a conflict, I'm rooting for no one. But on the challenge, I feel like...
you know the history, you know their stats, their background?
Yeah, I guess
so you know probably... what is who to root for or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, knowing the characters involved.
Take a look at Christina LeBlanc. She's from Are You the One, season 2. That's her.
Nice. 2 thumbs up.
The thing is, like, can we gather so much information from just a picture? And nearly everyone is good looking. Production would never let them on the set if they weren't.
And this kind of ties into something we were talking about before, where the guys kind of have an advantage in the challenges over the girls. Part of that reason is because the girls they bring onto the show, they're usually not chicks who do CrossFit or play in the lingerie football league, who are like super buff and like ready to tackle you. They just get these bimbo hot chicks who are eye candy, but they're not athletes, so they don't end up doing well in the missions. The producers just go out and find the hottest looking chick, and they don't find the most athletic looking chicks.
Now, my only counterpoint to Are You the One cast being on the challenge, I think it was Adam and Brittany. Brittany was from Are You the One, and she did really well in terms of eliminations.
She was good, but she never... I don't know. She was kind of just there. I wasn't super impressed. But the problem is it's like I'm complaining like, oh, they're not picking an athletic chick, they're just picking a hot chick. Well, on Are You the One, that's like a dating show, so they're only putting hot chicks on the show. And same for the dudes, they're just getting like some like the situation type dude who puts a lot of gel in his hair and he's like, oh.
Okay, so let's get into Christina LeBlanc's Bloodline, which is a girl, her sister actually,
Ooh.
Emily Reese. Now, to me,
Yeah, she's hot too.
To me, I see softness in there.
I see more of the girl next door. I could see her sitting at home and drinking some hot tea and reading a book.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to really help the Bloodlines team. She could be intelligent. Perhaps she's read a lot of, maybe she read War and Peace in a day. You know those chicks. You know those
in a day.
Yeah, and maybe she has some ideas. But from this picture alone, she looks too soft to me. She looks like a librarian, future No.
A super hot librarian.
All right, next we have Kahada. I love Kahada. Kahada has always been like, I want you to win, and right when I think you're not going to do good, you still do good in like eliminations and shit. You're fucking upbeat.
Yeah.
You got this. You stand out because your accent is fucking outrageously southern, in the Rockies somewhere.
Yeah, at first when I heard him, the Rockies is out west. He's from the Appalachians. From those mountains that go through Virginia and West Virginia and Carolina down to Georgia. Like, his accent was so, like, out there, I just immediately, like, penciled him in as, like, a southern hick who's stupid. But he's a very smart guy. Very well-spoken. His relationship with Nani was the thing I disliked most about him.
Yeah, it was
tragic. Yeah, because he's better than he was better than her. I feel like.
Yeah, but he was being a victim of circumstance. Nani slutitude.
Yeah, but did she sleep with Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Riley.
Johnny Riley. Yep.
Yeah, shit. Like, I didn't like Johnny Riley after he did that. I was like, oh.
I didn't either. Because
but then he slowly won me over because he was so good.
Yeah. And I feel like it's because I like Kahada that I did not like Johnny for doing that. Even though the whole time I'm like, Johnny, he's alright. But once he did that, once he hooked up with Nani, but I found myself getting mad at the wrong person. I should have been getting mad at Nani.
Yes.
Just like in a real relationship, you get mad with the guy and not the chick that's with you. But, even going back to Kahada's beginning, he was on the island. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He did okay, but it was too political. He's not too political in these games.
Yep.
And I guess
everyone likes him a lot, so he doesn't get thrown in immediately. He usually ends up sticking around to like episode 7 or 8, and then they're like
midway. Midway, I feel like that's when his card is called. That's when he's.
And I'm always nervous when he gets thrown in because he's such a small guy that there's a lot of stuff where he's at a disadvantage. But then a lot of times he comes through and he just blows you away, and you're like, "Whoa, awesome! He did great." And it makes him super likable.
Yeah, I mean, his premiere elimination, he beat Wes, the undefeated champ. Yes. Like, that was huge. And he would continue on to just surprise every elimination. You want to be like, oh, he's an underdog. But no, I actually have a lot of faith in Kahada. The only thing is that he does not get in with, like, the higher-ups. Politically, he's never pushed himself that high, Like, you need to be aggressive in these games. And Kahada is one of those, like, he's strong, but, like, he's a good dude.
Yeah. Been around enough now. I would really enjoy it this season if he really stepped up his political game.
He does have Nani here, so that might help him a lot. I heard that they were actually dating throughout Battle of the Exes 2, something like that. They were together for a long time. I don't know if they still are or not, but I heard that stuck somehow.
Weird.
Tragically.
Yeah. There's no way they're still together.
But
Nani jumps from guy to guy.
She didn't sleep with anyone Battle of the Exes 2, though.
Yeah, for like the first season ever. Right?
Yeah. So maybe it's real. This love is real, y'all. Other guys.
So who's Kahada's bloodline?
This chick named Jill Tuttle, and she looks, very naturally, very she looks like the cousin. She's a chick. She's wearing this greenish hat. She's kind of like smirking. She's not like trying to seduce us whatsoever.
No, she looks like a dorky chick who probably likes to paint dolphins.
But she looks outdoorsy. You could see trees in the background clearly.
Almost like a Cara Maria, but not a city girl, a country girl.
Yeah. That's
no pirate haircut, of course.
Yeah, she's like, I broke my hymen on a horse.
Oh, God.
Riding a horse. A bucking bronco, if you will.
Just like Cara Maria would.
Oh my god.
She loves horses.
Yeah.
Wow, we've gone from Bloodlines to period jokes to hymen jokes. I'm just saying I'm aware of it.
All right. Well, Jill Tuttle, she's there. She looks outdoorsy, so I'm gonna say that's gonna be good for Bloodlines. Okay, so next we have Corey Wharton, something like that. He is actually from Real World Explosion. Never watched it, never seen it, but he's a bigger guy. That's for true.
Big Easy Big?
No, in shape big. Corey Wharton, Real
He doesn't
World
look like a
Explosion.
big guy.
No, he's in shape. Like
Really?
yeah. He's ripped and shit. Like he's got muscles and stuff. So that's gonna help alumni. I don't know him at all though, outside of his physical appearance. His bloodline is Mitch Reed, Corey's cousin. This white dude with a cowboy hat. He's got a beer in his hand.
Every season has a gay cast member, right?
You get gay from that picture?
I do. Do you see that hand action he's got going on? He's holding
That's
a beer?
true.
I don't know.
It is gripping a dick
And
quite aggressively.
Yes. And plus the cowboy hat, he doesn't look like a cowboy to me. I think he just likes to ride. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is a pre-show. We have to make predictions on what could happen. I think this guy might be gay. Just throwing it out there. It might totally flop.
He's like, what do gay horses eat? Hey. You know what? I never got that at all. I mean, I see the hand there, but I didn't get gay from that at all. I just assumed party animal type Abram, but without the athleticism, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of a party loose cannon.
But you didn't get gay.
Personality. I didn't. I
You-
mean, now
you
I see
gonna
it.
get,
I didn't.
but you
see
don't
it.
get got.
I didn't see the hand at all until you pointed it out. So now I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean,
But you're questioning it now.
if
Now, next, like, if he talks and he talks with a lisp, it's gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's writing in cold blood, I'm gonna hate him because I hate most gay guys, I guess. Except for
Really?
Joe Capote.
I like Ryan. I like Frank.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I like. Oh, Frank is the best. I don't give a shit if he's gay or what. Next is Dario Medrano.
From Are You the One or Real World?
Dario Medrano. Are You the One? Puerto Rico.
And then
so
he
the
has his
same one
twin
from
cousin,
Christina.
or twin brother. Twin cousin.
Whoa.
That would
How
be
is that
weird.
possible? Oh my god, some sort of medical
Wow.
monster.
That could be a movie right there. Come on, Hollywood. Twin cousins. You figure out the logistics.
Twin cousins.
I will do the casting of it.
Only in the deep armpits of the South can that happen.
Oh. No, this seems like more of a laboratory movie. This is going to be, new age, biogenetics. Rednecks with test tubes somehow.
Yeah. They're like, we thought we were cooking meth. We were cooking up chromosomes or some shit.
Their cousins got a few too many.
Yeah.
But we're identical.
Oh, all right. Look, this is Raffi. It's almost pointless because they're twins, but that's how he looks. He actually looks a little bit smaller than his own cousin. I showed you the picture, right, of Dario Medrano.
Oh, I thought he had a twin brother.
Yeah,
Oh, you just said cousin.
twin. Oh, did I? Damn it! Back to the southern jokes. But yeah, the twin brothers. So we don't know either of them. So what's the point, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next is everyone's favorite fucking challenger, MVP of last season, Jenna.
Oh, wow. I was thinking okay. I was thinking someone completely different. MVP of the season. You're saying that tongue in cheek, right?
Well,
Or do
it was
people really-
officially voted by the cast on the Battle of the Exes 2 reunion.
That their favorite person was Jenna?
Nah, I think it was just kind of thrown out there.
I don't like Jenna at all.
No, me neither. I would rather see what's his name back than her. No.
I like
I'm
Anissa
okay
more than
seeing
I
it.
do like Jenna. Just because,
At least Anissa thinks that she's good.
yeah,
Jenna,
she brings something to the table. Jenna kind of just brings nothing to
she
the
could
table.
give a shit less about being on the show. At least that's how
The
she
only
was last
time I
season.
ever hear her talk is when TJ is explaining a mission, and then Jay had to repeat the rules of the mission to her. And she's like, huh? how does it work? And he's like, I'll tell you later.
Like,
This is annoying.
what?
She's never understood anything. And it's like, oh, you're so dumb, Jenna. It's like, I can't, I don't know. There's no reason to like her. She was just the rookie that got kept along for the ride and then kind of, she wasn't terrible in any way, but she never did anything good to stand out.
She never got last place. So that's a little something. There's something to be said. Maybe one of her other defining factors of her character, to me, last season, was that she truly hated her ex-partner, Jay. Because she's like, he cheated on me for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and how did I find out? Probably through the real world that we were on, you know? It's like humiliating and shit. So she was just like, no, I'm not going to say shit next to him. She was, protesting and stuff. She burned her bra.
They're going to say bridge.
Burned her bra. No. But yeah, okay, so that's all I have to say about her. She got to the final. Does that mean something?
I don't think she's good enough.
No. All right, let's take a look at her bloodline.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's her bloodline?
Brianna Julig, her cousin.
She's pretty good looking. She has kind of a creepy smile thing going on, but it's somewhat of a mean, sadistic
nothing
smile.
about it, though, suggests athleticism. You know? Like, it's taken in a
she
car.
She looks like an HR manager for, like, Macy's, like, clothing store or something where you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Like, they'll probably get eliminated, like, immediately.
Let's move on. Johnny Bananas.
JB.
What do we got to say about him? He is the most decorated challenger that's ever been on the show.
He's the star of the show. He's...
Love him or hate him, production's going to have him on every season, it seems, till the end of time, because...
He wants to be there. They know he has this huge fan base, this built-in fan base.
Yeah.
They want to keep the fans happy.
Right. But, the main difference here is that I feel like there's no one here to oppose him. He's got his boy Leroy here. And then there's a bunch of underlings. The only person I feel that stands up to him is Cara Maria.
Yep.
And perhaps Abram.
I've felt the same way, like, looking at this cast. I feel like there's Bananas, and then there's not another main event level player. There's no CT or Wes.
Nope.
None of those headliners or like even Zach. Even if you brought Zach back, I would feel like, okay, he's on that level where I would still take Bananas in a final over Zach, obviously, but at least I feel like there's a competitor on his level.
Because you see Leroy there, and if you think he's good or not, you know that he's Bananas' lapdog.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're gonna be voting together. Bananas has said how he loves having Leroy around because he's such a fun, nice guy. Mm-hmm. They're going to be voting together, and Bananas has confidence in himself to beat Leroy in a final.
And now he's got a bloodline named Vinny Gliata, and take a look at his mugshot if you want. Just
that actually looks like a legit mugshot. Like, all the other pictures are just like people and just like, hey, it's a selfie, but this one's a legit mugshot. It looks like Bananas' like Italian brother. He looks like a meathead too, just like
Bananas. It's actually
Bananas.
his cousin. Did we say that?
Yeah. I meant to say cousin. All this cousin brother talk, like now that's the same thing in my head.
There's an attention to detail in terms of the hair. The hair is gelled up and stuff. So clearly
the collar on the shirt.
Bananas. Yeah, collar.
You can barely see it, but you know it's there. You know it's there. He looks like another.
Has no future aspirations really. Just whatever comes his way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
no entrepreneurial aspirations.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if someone says, "Hey, start selling your own name on a shirt," maybe he'll latch on.
Do you think he'll have his own bobblehead?
Holy shit!
If Bananas is Bananas, who is this guy? Is he grapes? He can't be coconuts. That was Svetlana.
Yeah, he could be kiwi. No, that's New Zealand, though.
Yeah. Mango, that was Chris Kattan on Saturday Night Live.
You cannot have it a mango. Let me ask you, though, when it comes to dividing into partners at the end, he clearly has an advantage with this guy, if they're both at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if he's an athletic guy I'm sure Bananas, he's won so many challenges. when it comes down to the finals, it's all about endurance. And Bananas is going to get a cousin who's going to be working on his cardio. He's going to be like, hey, make sure you can run 10 miles nonstop. Like, you have to be able to run a half marathon, which would be like 13.1 miles. Bananas would make sure his cousin can do that. Because Bananas, he was one of those guys who was always working out all the time. Like, we saw like guys like Alton do that, and there's certain guys who are physical condition where they're always working, and like anytime they have a long distance run, they're fine with it. And he's going to be on that level. So Bananas, he's such a clear favorite. Sucks. Just because, I mean, I've seen him win so many times. It's like...
Yeah. It is what it is. He's the Patriots. He's the Tom Brady. You've seen him do questionable moves
before, but he's totally the Patriots and Tom Brady.
Yes. Moving on. Kellyanne.
We have not seen her in forever.
I like her.
I like her too.
Island. She only had 2. Island and The Ruins. She captured my attention, and she did really, really well.
On The Ruins, I just thought she was super hot. And I watched The Ruins first and then The Island. And then on The Island, I really started to like her. Like, with her personality more than just her looks. But, I mean, she's kind of a total package.
Yeah. And I'm glad she's back. I've wanted her back for a while. And then check out Kellyanne's Bloodline. It's a dude, Anthony Cuomo. And in this picture, he's outside. He's carrying a log, and he's not wearing a shirt.
He looks like he's doing a Tough Mudder or something.
He does. No, he's actually running a Spartan race.
Oh,
you ever hear of those?
Yeah.
Those are pretty impressive. They're not as I hear they're not as long as a Tough Mudder. But if he's running one of those, he's athletic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like people who are into the challenge are into Tough Mudder. Like, I did a Tough Mudder, like, last month, and it was awesome. And honestly, watching the challenge, like, that kind of got me prepared for the Tough Mudder, because I'm like, yeah, this is like a final. It was 11 miles long, and you got to do all these obstacles on the way. And the fact that he does Spartan runs, those are cool. I mean, it seems like a good partner. Kellyanne, I mean, because Kellyanne, she's just like...
She's really good, too.
Like, stick skinny. She's not, like, super strong.
Really?
But she's...
Remember, okay, I just want to cite The Island. I believe it was...
That's true. They were all kind of starving.
Rachel Robinson and Kellyanne. She beat Rachel Robinson. And Rachel Robinson, to me, is one of the strongest female challengers of all time.
But that was in a dangling competition, basically, where you're trying not to fall. And the fact that Kellyanne...
That's pain.
The fact that Kellyanne weighs so little was such a huge advantage. Like, the fact that she weighs, like, next to nothing. She weighed probably, I don't know, 25 pounds less than Rachel. Because Rachel, she's more athletic and thicker and kind of kick your ass kind of chick, and Kellyanne's just like this small, dainty chick.
So is Kellyanne overhyped? Is that what we're saying, or what are we saying?
I don't know that she's overhyped. I think I haven't seen her enough, but because she's not super strong, but she is coordinated and she is smart. And sometimes you don't have to be the most athletically gifted. If you have that coordination down, that means that goes a long way.
On to the next. Leroy. What do we think about Leroy?
I like Leroy. I think he's awesome.
You like Leroy.
I do.
Don't you?
Yeah, you don't like Leroy, but and like honestly, like I didn't like Leroy. The first season I watched was Battle of the Exes 2 last season, and I didn't really care for Leroy because it seemed like he was lacking because he kind of just followed Bananas.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
While he was great, he's great in all the missions and in the duels. Like, I thought he was awesome. Politically, he annoyed me. But as I watched earlier seasons with him in it, he's a super likable guy. He's super funny. It's hard not to like the person of Leroy. Are there holes in his game? Yeah, politically, he's not as good. And in finals, like the final last year, he came up short. It was disappointing. Like, yes. I expected more, for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, podcasting is analysis. And when you put Leroy's stats on paper, you know, I didn't even have to do it, but I knew that he was just not serious enough to get to that level that I needed a challenger to get to beat a Johnny Bananas, to beat a West, to beat a CT. He was never at that point. He never reached that level. So I never had any faith in him. I'm like, yeah, is he entertaining? Sure, but eventually he became fodder. I know you're serving bananas of all people. How are you going to beat bananas if you're his friend? If you're worse than that, his Luca Brasi, his muscle. I mean, sure, he went against bananas twice in Battle of the Exes 2 and beat him, but still, they're now on each other's team officially.
Yeah, but don't as you're watching Leroy, this is like watching his career. Like, how many? Is this his 5th or 4th challenge?
This will be his 6th.
His 6th. As you watch him, haven't you seen like this potential with him where you're like, Leroy, you have all the tools to be good, you just have to put it together? Because like politically he's lacking, but he's not a stupid person. Leroy's a smart guy. So I feel like he could put it together. I see all this potential with him, so that's why I'm rooting for him.
I've seen nothing but potential. It's like I've never seen him harvest that potential. He keeps cultivating. I need him to start harvesting. Okay?
Yeah, okay. So he's like a first-round pick in a NFL draft where you're like, this guy has all the tools to be great, but what you see in practice isn't being translated to game day on Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he has the potential, but he's not living up to it at all, so... And, I mean, if we've seen 5 seasons of him now, he hasn't put it together.
Yeah.
See him, and to fail in the final like he did, which... I mean, it wasn't like an epic failure or anything, but there was no part of his performance where I was like, wow, if things kind of broke your way at some point, you could have done, I could have seen him winning. Like, I never saw that. It was just like, oh, I didn't see that fight or that tenacity that I am going to do everything, give 150%.
Yeah. And if we're thinking long term, as in the finals, I mean, he quit his first final. He's only been in 2 finals, He was in 3rd place, but he quit. And then next he got 2nd place. Yeah, he has a great personality, but if he's not going to win, it's almost like when a chick is like cute and flirty, but I know she's not going to fuck me. I have no interest anymore.
Yeah. Why are we playing this game of flirting if I'm not getting any? So it's when you're flirting with someone and then she says, oh, I have a boyfriend. And then you're immediately just like, I'm done trying.
Yeah.
Just because Leroy's disappointing doesn't mean he's going to disappoint forever.
I mean, yeah, we've seen Paula win,
so
CT win. Those were great stories. Like, oh, yay, hey, there you go.
But unfortunately, we are somewhat conditioned to expect the same type of thing. So we've had 3 awesome original Star Wars movies, but then we had a 3-quel sequel, and it sucked. So now we're getting another 3-quel sequel.
3-quel prequel.
There was a 3-quel prequel, and now the 3-quel sequel. God. Are those words? I don't think so. I feel like this new one's probably going to disappoint too, because it's not going to be as good as the originals. It's going to be like, oh yeah, it was a Star Wars movie.
So you're saying Bloodlines is Leroy's The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
so he's still not going to win.
Yeah, he's probably not going to. I'm rooting for him to be good, but it's probably not going to happen. Like, oh, George Lucas isn't here. It's going to be good this time. It's like, Leroy, he might have an awesome bloodline, but he might fall short. But who is his bloodline?
Candace Fowler. What I'm getting from this is taken in a car. Maybe
she might be slightly stoned with a hat backwards. It's kind of what she looks like, but who knows?
I feel like, I don't know. She could be strong. We can't fucking tell. Not from that picture.
She might have some tenacity. She might not. But, I mean, if she doesn't, and she's going against Camilla or Cara Maria, I don't think she'd have a chance. Because she's going to be on the Bloodlines team, so she would have to go maybe against Anissa or Jenna. She could probably take out Jenna, maybe, but Jenna might be just as good. Might be better. Who knows?
Who was that? Candace Fowler. Yeah, I don't know. Fowler. If I had dyslexia, I would be like Candace Follower.
Follower?
Which is what Leroy is.
Ooh.
Coincidentally enough. Or not coincidentally. This is Bloodlines, by the way. This is blood. What was her? A sister, a cousin? I don't remember looking it up. I think it was a cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cousin. Okay, let's move on, though. Let's go to Nani.
Nani.
How do you feel about Nani?
I mean, we kind of talked about Nani with Kahara before.
Revamp. I'm
not a fan of Nani. She's super annoying.
Why is she annoying?
She would get into these arguments with other chicks on the show.
Yes.
And she would never...
Related to
she
sex
would never
almost always.
Yeah, a lot of
like, you're a slut. No, you're a slut. Like, that was basically Battle of the Exes too, wasn't it?
And she never could... Yeah, she could never shut her mouth long enough to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to let this be. If
she was fiery.
If there's ever any type of someone saying something to her, she's gonna bite at it, you know?
Yeah.
She's like a Wolverine, where if you give her any kind of bait, she's just gonna jump at it and make drama out of it. Yeah. And that type of personality, it's awful, because
it's more a liability than anything else.
It rubs people the wrong way. She becomes where she's always getting in conflicts with other cast members. She always has a political game, and that kind of magnifies her downside. She's always political with people, so she's always kind of in a deciding factor of who she's going to throw in. And it's always like someone she got drunk and got into a fight with, or something like that. Or someone where she's liking some guy, and then that guy's liking some other girl.
She has so much more negative things to say than positive. And the positive stuff, it's like you could say that about most girls. And Nani, she loves to pick fights. You said that? She fucking argued with her own friend Camilla for like all night on Free Agents. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were friends. Camilla was, I think, standing up for Nani, and then Nani was somehow mad at Camilla.
Yeah,
or some
she was
shit. What was it?
So drunk that she ended up just yelling at her. No, wasn't it Camilla yelling at Nani?
Yeah. But Nani could have been like, "Wow, you're drunk." No, she was just like,
she
"I
kept
will
fighting
fuck
with
you
her.
up," and
yeah,
shit.
she just fed into it, and it was like, "No, you are friends,
ridiculous.
and now you're just going along with it."
Yeah. Oh my god! And really, Free Agents was the most damning season for Nani in my eyes.
Yeah,
because
right.
Not only did she go over the top emotionally, and she cheated on Kahata if they were ever together or not, but she also cried a lot in being guilty for it, which to me was the greatest sin. If you're gonna fuck around on someone, just fuck around on someone.
A lot of times she would be talking into the camera, and I'm just like, I'm not even buying her bullshit. Like,
she cried a lot. In fact, she's very emotional. So emotional where I'm like, I don't think she should be on camera. A lot of her face-to-face confessional scenes, she never really looks at the camera. She's always just like kind of looking away and shit. I'm like, why are you on TV if you can't even look at us in the eyes?
And that always seems deceiving to me when you're acting that way.
Well,
if you're not even looking me in the eye when you're talking.
Deceiving, but she's like, she has no self-confidence. She's just like a human train wreck. She's pretty, but she's had so many awful things happen to her where she starts to act out on good guys like Kahata. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
you know, it's
when
all
I watch her,
up.
like, I feel like she doesn't respect herself, so I don't respect her either. And it's sad. Like, it sucks because she's smarter than how she acts. And that's why I'm so disappointed in her.
Yeah, and you know what? She drinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she sleeps... I would say she sleeps around as often as everyone else does. But I feel like she's been characterized as the floozy.
I would say slightly more, but... Well, they don't ever seem to be relationships. They always seem to be just like a thing that kind of happens for one time.
Yeah. Let's take a look at her bloodline. Nicole Ramos, who I must say...
Damn, she looks like a Brazilian supermodel.
Absolutely, yeah, beautiful and hot. Yeah.
Very exotic. Like, Nani's exotic, but she's like super exotic, supermodel.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This is definitely a plus in terms of like fresh blood coming in. Fresh meat, I mean, you know? Fresh
just because she's super
fresh
hot?
Blood means. In this case, yes.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing her. Actually,
because the thing is with these,
sometimes you got to be that shallow, people, to enjoy life. Right?
I'll enjoy that for watching it, because when I'm watching the challenge, from the dudes, I want to see good athletes and either like smart political players, and then for the chicks, I like you to be funny and smart and good political players, but I also want you to be hot. So I want you to have every good attribute, because there are certain chicks who are like awesome, but they're not that good looking, so you're like, eh. I'm trying to think of who, though, because, I don't know, this show is filled with so many good looking people, but this Nani's cousin, I mean, I don't know. She looks hot, but like definitely not your girl next door hot. It's like crazy weird supermodel where I've maybe seen like 3 chicks in my life who like look like that exotic. There's not many chicks who look like that in Wisconsin. So like when I see a chick who looks like that, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And then you're just like, why are you here? Did your plane crash? Do you need help? Like, you're concerned for them.
My cousin once at a funeral, he brought his girlfriend. I don't think they were married, but he was in the Navy or Marines or something like that. He was stationed in Brazil, and he had this Brazilian girlfriend who he brought to this funeral. She was super hot, just like crazy. She looked like Shakira. And she wore like somewhat like these big ass like stripper boots. This is a funeral, but she looked like I don't think she had like the right kind of clothing for a funeral. She wore her nicest clothes, but it still came off of like something that some slutty chick would kind of wear to a bar. And she was kind of showing some stomach and and some shoulders action going on. Like I love a chick in a top where you can see their shoulders and their arms and their super hot. And that's the way she looked, and it was just like something you'd never see before, at least in Wisconsin.
All right, so basically, next
Bananas
person,
is gonna win.
Thomas. Remember Thomas?
Tomas. No.
Valley X's 2. He was with Haley. He got eliminated in the rubber band banded together challenge dome. They're both banded together. Usually the girl goes first, digs through the sand, tries to get to the other side, and then the guy climbs and they help each other get to the band. They have to hold it for 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. That big giant.
Who did they go against? I think it was Johnny and Avery. They went against them.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull it together. They were out of it. So that's Thomas, and that is his bloodline. Is his twin brother.
I barely remember him, but yeah, I remember him.
He was in the top 4 in the very first episode, and he was also in the top something else in the second episode. So it's not like I doubt him at all. All right, next we have Tony. He's actually from I believe Real World Skeletons. Do you need to see his picture?
So I've heard of like Real World, Las Vegas, New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Skeletons and where the fuck is Explosion? Are these places? They used to name it by their location, but now, like, are there skeletons where they're at? Are they in a graveyard? Like
no,
Explosion?
it's
are they in like a
themed.
crater?
It's all been themed twists.
These
past few Real World seasons have been about the twists. Isn't that crazy?
But what kind of twist has an explosion?
X. They would bring in their ex-boyfriend or girlfriend to live in the house with them after
so the cast doubled, kind of?
Yeah.
Whoa. And that was Explosion.
Yeah.
Whoa. Skeletons, they're going to bring out a skeleton in the closet, perhaps.
Yeah, well, right? Skeleton almost always equaled another castmate.
Okay. Oh, you thought your cousin was dead, but now they're like...
Yeah. What a cruel joke, you bastards, Bunham. And Murray.
They survived the abortion.
In all your houses. Yeah,
you're like, they survived the abortion. They just bring out a bunch of little kids, and you're like, what? I have a child?
This guy is Tony Raines.
He's a good-looking dude. There's gonna be chicks on the show. I'd be like, oh, he's so cute.
And that's all you have
because
to predict.
There's so many fresh meat
there. Does that mean he's gonna do good?
No.
What are you saying?
Not necessarily. Not at all. I mean, he's still a jabroni. He's a new guy. He's a rookie. So guys like Bananas and Leroy, they're gonna, and like probably Nani and Camilla, they might be like, hey, we're gonna vote in the rookies. You know, you gotta test your mettle, see how you do, because they don't know their bloodline. They're on the alum team, but they have no affiliation with those vets on the alum team. A guy like him, he's gonna get sent in right away. Same with the other Real World and Are You the One people. They'll probably get sent in pretty soon.
But again, you're assuming that the alumni will be winning these missions and being in control.
Yeah, that's true.
The Bloodlines, on the other hand, they're going to be operating on a totally different political standpoint because they're all new. Well, let's take a look at Tony's brother, his bloodline on the other team here. And coincidentally enough, or not coincidentally enough, he was also a skeleton. I told you, like, the twist instead of explosion was to bring in your ex after every week or whatever. So it's just like, oh my god, I'm with my ex. I gotta live with my ex. I have a hot ass fucking roommate right now. I'm trying to bang, and now my ex girlfriend shows up. That would suck,
awful.
right?
Yeah, total.
But skeletons on this season, I believe they were just like, Shane Raines. He shows up and he's like, "Hey, I was your gay brother, and you were ashamed, and you made fun of me or whatever." You know what I mean?
Oh, just someone who has a gripe with them. They got a beef, and they're just like, "Hey."
Yeah.
Oh,
but
so
this was his brother, and I'm not absolutely
his gay
at
brother?
all sure that he was gay at all either.
Oh.
I just threw that out.
He
there.
does like to smile, so that's kind of
Totally
gay.
usually. Yeah. Makes a man wonder how often he should smile a day.
He's too in touch with his emotions. He must play for the other team.
Yeah. So finally,
last person. Let me think. Is there? Oh, I know who this person is. I know exactly who it is. Yeah,
Abram Boise, I believe his name is. Boys. Yeah? Is that what it is?
B-O-Y-S, boys.
Boys. Like, bring the noise, boys.
Yes.
That's cool. And speaking of boys, his bloodline is his brother. Abram and his brothers, I think there's another brother, they actually tried to make their own reality show once as well. Yeah, they had a pilot where it was just the three of them going on adventures and shit.
What kind of adventures were they going on? Just
Jumping out of planes, landing in the wilderness, trying to survive and shit, like that sort of stuff, like anything.
If I was a producer for MTV, I probably wouldn't have picked it up.
Well, they didn't.
We're three brothers and we're gonna hang out. It's like, this isn't brotherly love, all right?
All right, well,
not the Lawrence Taylor, the Taylor
Lawrences.
twins. Yeah.
Oh my god, you've dated yourself quite a bit.
I used to watch that show a lot, Brotherly Love. I'm excited Abram's here. This is awesome.
Yeah. He's been on 8 seasons. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. This alumni and this bloodline come in as a replacement for an original cast member.
Yeah, so basically that means when you watch the pilot, you're not going to see Abram be there. But shit, I feel like that's a big spoiler. We might not want to say that. Should we cut that out? I feel like that is a big spoiler.
No, because if you really want the best spoilers around, you come to us, baby. You want the good stuff? You come to us.
Okay, well, we don't want to spoil the entire season. That would be bad. He's going to show up at some point, but the circumstances, will someone go home sick? Will someone get into a fight?
Yeah.
Someone sexually harass somebody.
The other thing is, though, once he's here, he has Cara Maria to hang out with.
Yeah, the old flame.
It's going to be a great reunion, I feel.
Are either of them in relationships? They're both free-spirited, so they're probably going to be single forever.
Right. Yeah.
So they'll be back in a relationship for, the few weeks that they're on the show.
Yeah, you think so? You think they might hook up this season?
Well, maybe.
I've yet to see a season where they didn't.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Cutthroat, Battle of the Exes. Why would that change? I feel like a bigger, more important issue about Abram being on the show is that he is a really good athlete. He was a leader in Cutthroat. He led that team so hard, and he's always been a leader. Inferno 3.
He's always been super athletic and just a great competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And as the years have gone on, he's impressed me with how much he's grown as a person and become smarter. And just all around, like, he's the total package, I feel like.
Yeah.
And he's likable. Like, I feel like he has, like, Bananas level ability, but he's likable.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's the only guy to really stand a chance to stand up and verse Bananas. But again, they're on the same team. Until the later twist. Now that we know everyone that's here, all this twist and shit is that it's the alumni versus bloodlines, and then the elimination twist where you don't even have to participate, then you get eliminated. I feel like that was enough. Play it out straight, production. Just let 3 alumni in the end versus 3 bloodlines, and just run that race, run that final. Whoever wins, wins. But now we get wind that about 3 or 4 episodes before the final, another twist comes because production is like, that's what people want, right? And we're like, yeah, we do, but not so late in the game. That's my only gripe with it.
And they're not going to even play it as a twist. TJ will probably like say it in the first episode, like when he's going over the, you know.
You think so?
I think he could. Then? I think he could. Then? Yeah. I don't see why he wouldn't. Where he's like, you know what? You're attached to this person, and you're rooting for them because at the end, they're ultimately you're gonna have to work together. In the final.
Yeah. Holy shit. You made me kind of like this. If that's the case, if that's in the trailer, I'll be like, Dave.
Yeah, you always have to root for family.
You did fantastic work. We're out of fucking beer.
I got some warm beer in my trunk.
Oh, God. All right, so let's close this up officially.
So this is Bloodlines.
Yeah.
And Bloodlines, okay, so in the past we've seen Battle of the Sexes. You know, who's the best, guys or girls? This time we're seeing Battle of the Bloodlines, so to say. So we're going to finally see, like, who's genetically superior, whose bloodlines are the strongest. This is like Game of Thrones, like, you know, the House Bananas, or House Nani. This is like House Kahutta.
Oh my God, that's
right?
True. Yeah.
So we're going to see whose family is the greatest.
Yeah.
It's Bloodlines.
Oh my God.
It was a stupid correlation to Game of Thrones.
No, but it's perfectly fine. I mean, you think about the incestuous side. We already made the joke of Kahana fucking his bloodline cousin Jill, you know.
And maybe Nani and her cousin will be super slutty and make out or something. That might be cool. As it being bloodlines, like your bloodline, if you're Leroy, is going to be a black person. If you're Italian like Bananas, it's going to be like the Italians. This is like the Olympic Games where you have people from different countries.
God.
You have Brazilian people like Camilla. This is like the Olympic Games.
Kahana would have the bars and stars, Confederate flag.
We're passionate people.
I like it. Do you like it? You're not. It's basically a fresh meat, right?
I'm just not wild about you getting eliminated if your bloodline gets eliminated. Because I mean, you could be awesome, and because your bloodline screwed up, it's like, oh, they couldn't finish a puzzle, so now I'm going home, even though I've been awesome. I've gotten first place basically in all the missions. Yeah. And then I'm getting sent home.
Yeah, I think nearly every episode is going to be very controversial. Every episode is going to end kind of bittersweet.
I mean, it's going to hurt. It's going to be super painful, like every episode, to see someone go home that way. But I feel like there'll be more heartbreak than happy times.
No, I actually never heard of this twist until just recently. The whole, like, not mid-season, but like 3/4 of the season twist, where they're like, now you're in pairs. And I just got really mad. I'm just like most of the twists lately, where, you know, this is the twist era, where the producers, they're mistaking twists for excitement, for, I don't know how to explain it. It's
any publicity is good publicity.
Right.
So if they can get people talking about it and like, oh, I don't really like that, or I do like that, that's good for them.
Yeah, I feel like they're mostly just saying, let's get people talking. What's going to be upsetting? What's going to be a controversy? And that's the kind of twist that they've been throwing at the challengers and at the fans for the past couple years. It's, I don't know why they think that that's good. I think maybe in the end, it's, what is it called? It's training us to watch the beginning part of the season and like, oh, this is bad or this is good. Second half, we're just like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then it's going to go horribly wrong. And you're like, what the fuck is this? I got to finish it, right? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like, it could be really bad, but then the twist will get us to tune in. Because we know it's going to be wrong. Challengers are going to be wronged. They're going to be cheated out of this thing. And we're going to see, like, who ends up with the gold.
It's like watching Shutter Island, where you're like, you're really into it. You're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see what's happening here. And then you like the twist happens. You're like, oh, well, what the fuck? I'm still gonna watch like oh, really?
What does this have to do with the challenge?
Just the production
Oh,
shenanigans.
Yeah,
where they're always throwing in a twist for the twist.
Right.
Rather than having it be for a good reason, it's just they're trying to stir up controversy.
Yeah. So you're gonna tune in no matter what, and we're hooked from now on because we know 3/4 of the way in it's gonna get shitty, and you're like, who's gonna survive? This is the Saw movies. I've never seen the Saw movies, but like you're asked to do all this ridiculous shit to survive, and who knows who's gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, production is deciding to get so controversial and throwing in these twists that is not only going to anger challengers but fans alike. So we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to tune in to hate watch even, but they don't care as long as we're tuning in. And that's clickbait. It's pissing us off, and we're tuning in.
Oh yeah.
Let's name our top three. Top three.
I want Kellyanne, Nani's Bloodline.
Well, that means Nani too.
Kahada's Bloodline.
Then that means okay.
Those are just the three chicks I think are the hottest.
Nani, Kellyanne, and Kahada. You know what links all of them?
What's that?
Kahada.
Oh,
He's banged both those chicks.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
Kahada
that great?
and Kellyanne. That was good.
Isn't that amazing? Kahada is great. He's one of my all-time faves. I'm glad he's in the season. All right, so do I have anything else?
So
to
who
say
are
about
your
that?
top three?
Oh, my top three. Oh, this is what I want. This is who I want. Abram.
Mm-hmm.
Cara Maria.
Okay. Yeah.
Kahada.
Kahada. Ooh. Yeah.
If
I like all three of those.
Oh my god, that would be
if
amazing.
they're in a final,
Is
Cara Maria ever won one?
No.
Abram has won 2, but Kahada hasn't won any either. So, who would you want to win more, Kahada or Cara Maria?
Out of the two?
Yeah.
Cara Maria, probably because she's done more. Kahada does this is his
Fifth? Fourth?
Yeah, this is his fourth. Yeah. And this is Cara Maria's 8th. So I
She's
kind
been
of
rocking
feel
that
like
haircut for a long time now. Jesus Christ. But you
you
know
don't
what?
like it?
I liked it back then. I've always kind of expected her to change it, but part of me likes that she hasn't. Like, she's, you know what? I'm going with it. She's sticking to it. So I'm like, she's owning it. Like, that's just all right. That's her gimmick, and she's not changing. Yeah, this season we're expecting it December 2nd because of a random
December
Johnny Bananas tweet. So
well,
yeah, somebody asked him when the new season was going to start, and he said December 2nd. So it's not official by MTV, but
what is that? A Thursday?
No idea. Let's look it up.
Look that up. In the meantime, if you like this video, like it, subscribe. You can check out our channel. We've covered other seasons before this too.
Is this our channel now? This is not just your channel. This is our channel, right?
I don't know. Are you going to be able to record for Bloodlines?
I think so. I hope so.
We'll find out when
the
days are. Like,
it's on a Wednesday.
Make sure to check out our previous seasons, Battle of the Exes 2, The Duel, and I am currently covering the Gauntlet season. And I'm not sure if Dave's going to be able to be on the next podcast or not. Are you going to be able to, you think?
For Bloodlines?
Yeah, Bloodlines.
Yeah, I think that's my plan.
Yeah?
For sure.
Awesome.
I'm not sure when it will drop. If the episodes are on Wednesdays, we might not have it drop until Saturday or something. But
there goes a lot of views.
Or maybe Friday? I don't know. But I don't know when I'll be able to record it because I might have homework or something in the morning, and doing it during the week is tough for me, so the weekends are easier.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm glad that you are definitely available for them, or presumably.
We're like Bloodlines almost. If I get eliminated, you're eliminated, right?
No, because you know what? I am covering the Gauntlet by myself, and I feel like I'm okay with it now.
You're okay with covering Bloodlines by yourself if need be?
If need be. I would. I don't
Unless
want
you could
to,
just
though.
pull a
I really
twist
don't want
and,
to.
you know, bring in a bloodline of your own.
Oh yeah, my brother Donovan.
Spoiler alert. You gotta cut that out now. Shit. We don't want to spoil it. You're like, I'm bringing in my own bloodline. Ha ha ha. Made a great reveal.
What else do we have to say about this?
Oh, did you hear the new... TJ Lavin isn't the host this year.
Fuck you.
It's gonna be Johnny Mosley.
No, it's not.
It's Johnny fucking Mosley.
You're making it
the
up.
The most annoying host ever,
You're
Johnny
making
Mosley.
it up. Thank you, Dave. Step down. For the
Okay, I am making it up. But you know what? That would have been awful news. You say you don't like TJ, but you know what? It could be Johnny Mosley, which would be 20 times worse.
I have no problem with Johnny Mosley.
I do.
And I've seen TJ for far too long.
I like Dave Mirra a lot. I thought he was good.
He does not give nor subtract from the show. But
I thought Johnny Mosley subtracted.
Did he?
Yeah.
If the final always stands out, right? Think of a cool final. Have you ever thought of a final where it's like they haven't done that shit yet?
Sometimes they go to a secondary location.
Yeah.
So, perhaps there's a secondary location because they've done Turkey before.
Which is what?
If I could choose, I would say they've done snow. They've done desert. And desert is
there's that. They've done Tatooine. The other thing is, what if you tie the theme into the final? What's a bloodline theme? I can't think of a single thing besides the South.
Some kind of weird Game of Thrones incestuous.
They have to, like, oh shit, yeah, they can like have to like trudge through the swamps of like the Louisiana Bay or some shit. Like the Louisiana
the bayou.
Yeah, the bayou, fucking gators and shit, you know?
It'd be like Bobby Boucher and his mom.
They could do a bunch of like
the devil.
They could do a bunch of like southern shit where they have to stick their hands to the holes and catch the fish. You ever watch that reality TV show?
Yeah, the noodling for catfish.
Yeah, noodling. Yeah, and they'd have to pull that out, and they're like, okay, great, you know, and then move on to the next thing. They could do that. They could have to like shoot crocodiles like swamp people. You ever watch that show?
No.
That's every episode. They just kill crocodiles.
Are there that many where you just hunt them?
Yeah.
And kill them?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
It's fucked up. That's
really way cooler than shooting a deer because a deer is not really going to fight back.
That's true.
An alligator
it
could
is
kill
really
you.
weird to watch though. Because I'm like, I never see an alligator, but every single time I tune in, they're getting killed by this. By the people. The people are horrible though. They're like woo-hoo-hoo and shit like that. You're like, oh man, I'm sorry, crocodile.
They got some chew in their mouth.
Yeah.
Dirt,
and that's what makes it worse. Because they're like, you know, that goddamn crocodile, that ain't too smart. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, he isn't.
And that's the problem with those kind of reality shows is they take people and they're always like a stereotypical person to the max.
Although the joke of bloodlines being in the South being incestuous or whatever is a little too highbrow. I don't think people get it.
I don't think in the South. It's just like we're from Wisconsin, so we're just like, oh, screw you, people from the South. But like, I know people from the South and they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're not incestuous at all.
I believe we know the same people from the South. Yeah. Some of them. Yeah. Battle of the Challenges podcast. It's a collab.
This is David Lauer.
And this is a weekly podcast. This is Vincent Cloud, and I'm signing off.
This is David Lauer, over and out. We are the worst in the world at coming up with finishes. All of our podcasts. I think
that'll be it.
It's like the end. I feel like the end of every one of our podcasts is just like, oh god, just like
it's
end it already.
Yeah.
We're not very delicate in our finishes.